Come on. Bring him. Come back.
Derek's flying the drone over a Bigfoot sighting hotspot in Utah. We keep a close eye on this area because on this mountaintop known as Monte Cristo, where there's dozens of springs, all within about a mile radius over the last 30 years, there's been 5 reported Bigfoot sightings. There's also been another half dozen, all within about 15 miles of this location, from the famous hardware ranch. Finding Bigfoot has done a couple of expeditions to the hardware ranch area, and then you also have Scare Canyon and Ants Flats. Scare Canyon, a couple that had a Bigfoot sighting up at a spring up there. They've been in communication with our group about more details of the Bigfoot sighting that they had, and I believe it was 2012. But in this area that Derek's flying in, there's some springs nearby: Hellcats, Zion Springs, another dozen, and there's been about five. Well, there has been 5 Bigfoot sightings that have been reported out of that area. So we camp up here a lot, and we keep a close eye on the area. Derek showed up on a 3-day camping trip with his family. He wanted to fly his drone and camera over several of the sighting spots, and because of the summer monsoons, it rained pretty much the whole time he was here. Okay, the camera's faced at Scare Canyon right now, right through that canyon, across the valley, up on the other mountaintop over there's where there's been 2 Bigfoot sightings in the last 10 years. Well, Derek come up here, and because of the monsoons, he was only able to fly the drone uh, as it's playing out right here. I mean, it's not the ideal time. It's kind of dark, the sun's going down, but this is the only break he had in the weather, and he was able to fly it. Well, anyway, our team has camped here for years, and none of us have had a sighting or anything up here. And the next night after Derek flew the drone, Trey had a Bigfoot sighting. Derek's son, I believe he's 13 or 14 years old, but he thinks he saw a Bigfoot. The whole family experienced it. They got back from Bear Lake after dark, and Derek was making a fire, and Trey was sitting right there. The girls were in the tents, getting the tent ready or whatever, and as soon as the fire flared up, all the kindling and stuff, it created a lot of light, and it was overcast. I mean, we're having monsoons, and so it was black, pitch black night. As soon as the fire flared up, that's when Trey, screamed out, "There's a face looking at us!" And he's pointing over the tent. It's standing behind the tent, looking over them between the trees. Um. Anyway, Derek, the only light that he had was his cell phone, and he's got a pretty bright flashlight on it actually, but he pulled that out of his pocket and went walking towards the tent. He was on big time alert because his family's right there and something standing next to the tents. That's what Trey was saying, and Derek shining the light on it, and it's gone. It's not where Trey had seen it and pointed at it any longer, and then they hear it crashing off into the woods away from the tents, and then it does a beeline around the camp, all staying out of sight the whole time. Derek wasn't able to get a visual on it in the pitch blackness with his cell phone flashlight, but it ran all the way around camp, a 180, and then took off. And the circumstances of it running are really crazy to me because in my experience, most animals, when you spook them or they realize they've been spotted or whatever, they run directly away from you. You know, the easiest possible direction away from you. You know, this creature ran, and the camera's faced right behind Derek's Suburban. Um, their tent set up somewhere back there, and that's where it took place the following night. And you know, Trey thinks it was a Bigfoot. You know, he gave a description of the face in our last video. You'll have to watch that. Bigfoot expedition. Trey's sighting is the title of it. But we come up and did a follow-up investigation a couple of times after this happened. Um, Derek wanted to explore the following morning and see if he could find any evidence. And shortly after they went to bed, after the sighting that night, it rained all night, rained all the next day, and so they just packed up and left. And Derek left his tent behind, because you know, this is only about 65 miles from where we all live. It's pretty much in our backyard, so to speak. It's a great place for us to keep a close eye on because of the location to us. So the rest of us come up, set up camp a couple of days later, added to his camp, and then we started looking around, and we actually found a 12-inch long footprint. Looked like someone running around barefoot, and it sunk in very deep. A little bit wider than a human foot normally is, and I don't know. It wasn't the greatest footprint. It was pretty deep, but all the rain, you know, so it's within the human realms. So anyway, we're gonna keep an eye on this location. Derek gave you an aerial view, pretty close to the sighting area. The sighting's off to the left of the copter where it landed in the trees. Hope you enjoyed the air view of a possible sighting location. It is a reported Bigfoot sighting hotspot. Keep on watching. We're gonna keep on squatching.